Welcome to The Explainer. We're always being told that you can make a real living on platforms like YouTube, but how much of that is actually true? Today, we're going to find out. You've definitely seen them, right? The videos promising you financial freedom from some beautiful beach in Bali. But is that a real possibility for most people? So let's really get into it. We're going to look at the data, some real-world tests, and figure out what's really going on here. Some of the promises you'll see are just mind-boggling. We're talking claims of making, get this, $925 an hour just for writing a blog. It sounds absolutely incredible, right? And, well, that's because it's a massive, massive outlier. Because, when you actually talk to the academic experts who study these online work platforms for a living, they paint a totally different picture. For a lot of these gigs, a more realistic rate is, well, closer to $10 an hour. So what gives? Where's the disconnect? And that disconnect is exactly why we need to talk about our first, most important step. Before you can even think about building a real strategy, you have to learn how to separate the wild hype from the often harsh reality of the make money online world. Yeah, and this quote from psychology professor Melissa Keefe really hits the nail on the head. Researchers like her, the ones who actually study this stuff, confirm that for the vast majority of people, this isn't going to replace a full-time job. You got to think of it more like supplemental income, not a lottery ticket. Okay, so to see how this plays out in the wild, let's check out a real-world test. One YouTuber, Paul J. Lipsky, decided to try out some of those apps that are always popping up. You know, the ones promising easy money just for watching videos on your phone. And just look at how this whole thing fell apart. He started with an app called Quoli. And at first, it seemed like it was working. He watched some videos, earned $3.75, but then he tried to cash out. And that's when the trap sprung. First, a hidden $5 fee popped up. Then, the only way to pay it was through a crypto service he couldn't even use as a US citizen. The money was totally trapped. And look, this wasn't just a one-off thing, a single bad app. He tested 3 other popular ones. Swash, it didn't register any earnings at all, just 0. Real Rush paid out so little it would take an entire year to earn just over $4. And on Amazon MTurk, which is a legit platform, he couldn't find a single video watching task. So what's the big takeaway here? The promise, it just almost never matched the reality. Look, these apps are just one small piece of a much bigger problem. And to protect yourself, you have to know the common red flags. As you can see, you gotta be wary of anything that's more about recruiting other people than selling a real product, anything that asks for money up front, or promises you guaranteed high returns. You know the old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it almost always is. All right, so we've seen the dark side, we know what traps to avoid. Now let's pivot. Let's talk about what you should be doing. This is how you build something real. Forget shortcuts. A legitimate online income starts with finding your profitable angle. And the absolute cornerstone, the foundation of your whole strategy, is picking a niche. Instead of trying to be everything to everyone, you focus on serving a very specific, specialized group of people. This is how you can actually stand out from the crowd. But listen up, because here is a critical warning from successful creators like Liam Lauren. Don't just pick a niche because you think it's going to make you a lot of money. If you aren't genuinely passionate about that topic, you will burn out. Seriously, imagine spending hours and hours every single day on a subject you hate. You'll give up long before you ever see success. So once you've got that passion, then you can pick a business model that fits. And as you can see, there are plenty of legitimate options out there. Affiliate marketing, for example, can be super lucrative, but you need to know a thing or two about marketing. See, each of these paths is legit, but notice the pattern. They all have real requirements. There are no free lunches here, folks. So how do you actually market yourself once you're in that niche? Well, it all comes down to this one major mental shift. Stop thinking of it like you're shouting at a huge crowd with a megaphone. Instead, imagine you're just having a one-on-one conversation with a single person, your ideal customer. This changes everything. So let me introduce you to Avinash. Here's a perfect example of what we call a customer avatar. And notice how we know more than just his age. We know his goals, we know his fears, his pain points, even where he hangs out online. See, this is the magic key. When you know your Avinash this well, you stop making generic, boring content, and you start creating specific solutions he is literally typing into the search bar right now. Okay, so you know who you're talking to. What's next? Well, now it's time to build the map that's going to guide them right to your doorstep. This is your content strategy, and it's what separates the really successful creators from the people just doing it as a hobby. So instead of just waking up and making random videos about whatever pops into your head, you get strategic. You structure your entire channel around 3 to 5 core content pillars. So for a channel like this, you might have foundation guides for beginners, reality checks that build trust, and accelerator strategies for your die-hard fans. And you can see right here how those pillars just start generating awesome video ideas for you. That reality check pillar, it leads directly to a title like I tried dropshipping for 30 days. The foundation pillar, that gives you 5 affiliate programs for beginners. Every single idea is targeted, it's valuable, and it's designed to attract that one specific person, your Avinash. All right, we've covered a ton of what you should do, but the final piece of this puzzle is knowing what not to do. Let's talk about the most common traps that completely derail new creators. First up, trap number 1, chasing trends you don't actually care about. Now, we touched on this earlier, but it is the #1 reason people burn out. Your audience can smell a lack of authenticity from a mile away, and you'll just run out of energy. Stick to what you genuinely find interesting. And trap number 2, this one is huge. Focusing all your energy on video quality and completely ignoring your audio. I mean, just think about it yourself. You'll probably put up with a video that's a little grainy, right? But if the audio is terrible, if it's scratchy, or you can't hear what they're saying, you're out. You click away instantly. And honestly, this is probably the single best piece of practical advice for any beginner out there. Before you go out and buy a fancy camera or expensive lights, invest in a decent microphone. A simple USB mic can make a world of difference and will have a much, much bigger impact on your audience's experience. So after all that, what's the final verdict? What's the score for the make money online niche? Well, we gave it a 78 out of 100, and this breakdown really tells the whole story. The demand and the potential to make money are through the roof, but the competition is absolutely brutal, and it is not friendly to beginners who just copy what everyone else is doing. The bottom line? Your success hinges 100% on you finding a unique angle. And really, that's the secret sauce, isn't it? It's not about finding some totally undiscovered secret niche. It's about finding your unique spin on a topic you're passionate about. So now, the ball's in your court. I really want to hear from you. What niche are you considering? Drop it in the comments below, and I'll pick a few to analyze in a future explainer. Let's build a whole community of creators who are doing it the right way. Thanks for hanging out with me.